Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Elendor Chronicles, brought to you by the Component Cast. Before we get on with tonight's broadcast, we have a few things that we need to cover. First of all, if you like our broadcast and want to help us out, the best way to do so is simply by sharing, liking, or interacting with our content. It's completely free to do so, and we love you for it. If you are in a place, however, to help monetarily, the ways you can do so are as follows. Simply either become one of our wonderful Twitch subs and join us in the Twitch chat nice and proudly, or by becoming a Patreon. Patreon gives us the biggest slice of the pie and helps us create fantastic shows like this one. Also, we have a merch store, and merch on the merch store is limited to a show's run. So if you do like something on there, you've got a limited time to pick it up. Other than that, if you want to help us out and make content of your own, you can do so using our completely royalty-free music. We've got 10 tracks. Just search the Elendor Chronicles Volume 1 on any app where you make content or you listen to music, and you'll find us all there. Add us to your playlists, add us to your D&D nights. Just listen passively, and you can help us out. Right. We weren't here last week, so without further ado, I'm going to get this show on the road. Let's head straight to the trailer intro. So, if I could hit the correct buttons at the same time, that would help. Last we left off with our intrepid adventurers. They'd just gotten finished splitting the party, with our brave paladin buddy cop duo heading their way to the Underdark to secure a source of psychic resistance potions, and Anrayne Sunderstar looking for answers, well, somewhat within herself, by finally confronting Colorus, or so she hoped. Either way? Oh, I went a little bit Scottish. Either way. We regrouped with the party at the Cathedral of Ascension. After a rough reuniting, they decided to take a slightly slower morning. Of course, they had a job to do, but the will to straight away get going was probably too much of a distraction. Instead, they took a final glance at the library around them. Valymr went into the area of the library devoted to Cathriel, somewhat one of his patron deities these days, and looked around to see if he could find out anything that might serve them, especially in regards to helping out with going to Indar's Forge in the Zardom. He did pick up on a very, very key piece of information, which we will get onto later because it took some DM prompting for him to remember that it exists. But
sorry.
It's totally okay. I'm just, pulling your leg. In the meantime, Breton as well took to some final checks, shall we say, discovering more information about the hero, or should I say heroes, discovering that in the spines of 3 works within the king that ever was his sanctum, that the holy symbol of the king had been split into 3 sigils, which, utilizing the power of light, revealed 3 names: Elendor, Valymr, and Iscanador, which, after some searching, the party now believe to be the name of the 3 heroes that ascended. But the time for research had pretty much ended, and if they were to keep on track with stopping the apocalypse, they had to head out, and they headed out to the Tsardom of the Duradin. They teleported to a sigil that Ruby picked up all the way back in Modgwin from an arcanist and elementalist that shop disappeared the second time you tried to go there. And it was instantly apparent that the Tsardom was under new management, it seemed, upon the party's arrival, with the Free Guilds Republic actually taking control of the capital and were clearly now in charge. The symbols of the revolution flying on many of the bridges and buildings, and the clear markings of battle scarring the city. Either way, it was a relatively warm welcome, even though the Tsardom had little knowledge of what was going on above ground. They were open to these foreign travelers. You met up with some checkpoint guards who, upon initially checking for you, one of them decided to act as your guide to the city as he was about to go on lunch break anyway. A small dwarf by the name of Boris. Clearly some sort of civilian militia. It was talking to Boris that our party was confronted with new ideals, more social ideals, less confronted with the status quo of nobility, more a new brand of rulership. Either way, it didn't overly sit well with everyone. It was a feeling of too good to be true that overwashed the party, but with bigger fish to fry, they mostly let it aside and took in the sights somewhat of the Tsardom's capital. They were pointed to go to the new, we'll call it constabulary, but it used to be one of the main royal guard outposts, but it was being used by a certain Commander Grumblegrip, who was leading the militia who had taken the city, and was now devoted to keeping peace and order. It would be Grumblegrip that they hoped would facilitate their entrance and security around the city to the doors of higher power, if you can call them that, in a city where the guilds now rule. It was Grumblegrip who was probably the most open to working with the party, understanding that the needs of the Republic might be outweighed by the needs of the rest of the world in this particular case. And luckily, Grumblegrip had 2 individuals that would be able to help you. You were introduced to a man by the name of Oates, who was a noble and had a personal relationship with Grumblegrip. He was a noble, but yet on the side of the revolution. And then you were also given a contact who was a young cousin of Grumblegrip, who actually was a researcher into religion and forges within the once Tsardom. It was he who pointed you towards the forge of Indar, one very much in this city that might, you know, be what you needed to find. It had been somewhat perversely kept from public eye by the Tsar and their ministers for many years. A great sanctimonious anvil, part temple, part forge. And it was with your two new dwarven friends that you gained access. It's not the first time that Ruby, Breton, and Valymr have found themselves in a location so deified, so sanctified, that it's been kept from prying eyes for many years. And really, with all the research they had done, and with all the past experience, discovering the Forge's secrets was trivial to the group. Beneath the anvil, our group discovered a chamber, a series of chambers, where Bella, one of that original party, assumed long dead, was still alive and living out her days. And she was expecting your arrival. We left off with Bella and, begrudgingly, Anrayne cooking a meal for everyone and discussing the finer points of the apocalypse. But before we get on with the rest of tonight's session, I have to offer you folks a chance to get yourself a sessional piece of inspiration. So, I'm hoping your notes from last session are clean. What are the two colours of the revolution?
Black and gold.
Hey, there you go.
Black for
or gold and black.
Gold for gold.
Black represents the hard work of the masses and what it takes to actually provide what they need, and gold is representative of the potential of them earning and being self-sufficient with their own new economy.
Yes, it is a combination of the hard-working labourer and the skillful artisan and what they create together. And their sigil being a chisel, a pick, and a hammer, arrayed in a 3. But yes,
they also apparently always market this as two different flags of the same emblem but inverted colors, which I'm guessing is to show that these two are in equal parts.
Yep. Yes. And normally it is,
because that definitely won't fall off as somebody's just like, why do we have two of the same flag? It's like, I don't know, let's just pick one and be done with it, and the divide begins.
That's so true. Or
surely nothing like that has ever happened.
Or they'll do like a Vatican thing and have it split like each side.
That'd be cool. Like, I could see that. Like, you know, keep the equality for another 50 years before something else and somebody comes along and fucks shit up.
But yes, you can have your sessional inspiration. Well done. So we return to our party with the smell of simmering vegetables finally cut by Anrayne, and like sizzling meats and a pot of stew boiling on a stove. Bella goes off to her brewery and comes in with freshly poured tankards as well of what seems to be what we call like a soft beer. So like it's essentially beer like water. It's a very medieval thing of, it's actually kind of what you'd give to kids historically, because water was poison, and of course beer is better. So it's just like a very, very light ale.
Ruby still grimaces. She doesn't like the flavor of beer.
That's fine.
Bitter sensitive, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Can I get you something else?
Sure, water is fine, or mead, or wine.
Well, you don't really want the water here in the mountains. It's lot of mineral deposits that aren't as healthy for you to drink. I've got wine. Let me go get you something to drink. And she potters off. Party.
Slides the ale over to whoever is next to her. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Oates picks up and goes, "I'll have another fun."
Boy, can she on duty anyways.
What would you guys like to discuss? What's on the cards for you guys?
I think Breton is just kind of sitting there. I don't think he's drinking either. I think he's just a little like absorbed in the confirmation of, yeah, the apocalypse is coming, and the way you're gonna fix it is however you want to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
The decision is yours. What's going to come of all this? If you fix the seals, you fix the seals. If you repair things, if you deal with the problems, cool. But there's also the potential of, I mean, you guys might be the new gods. And I think Breton is just kind of a little lost in the significance of what that could mean.
Yours is studying. Or sorry, Ruby. God damn, I keep doing it. Notes out and everything.
What's Valymr doing at this moment?
Existential dread, I guess, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking the beer that's been offered. Not much of a beer drinker either, but at this point, alcohol is alcohol, and this is dwarven alcohol, so it's probably pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's very easy to drink. It's not anything like too heavy at all. If it was an alcohol, it's probably like 2%, if that, maybe 0.2%. It's like, it's more just a flavored water at this point.
It's a shandy.
I think a shandy would be stronger. Put it that way.
No, this is what happens when you have like it's like you've got a Coke and it's got ice in it, and you've been drinking the Coke and the ice just keeps melting and melting and melting, and now you've got like it's got like Coke that is melted throughout, but now it's just mostly melted ice. That's what you're drinking right now.
Essentially, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that is the expression you should be giving, because that is not a pleasant thing that I described.
I don't like ice in my drinks anyway. I hate it. I always ask for no ice. And then when I don't, I get sad.
I'm similar. I'm very, very, very similar.
I like ice in my drinks. But I drink them before the ice melts because I'm not I don't waste time.
I think it's apparently an ADHD thing to not like ice in your drinks. Apparently it's very common with people who have ADHD to hate ice in drinks.
As somebody who has that, I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's not everyone then.
Yeah, like this is a discussion of not all, but some apparently.
Yeah. I know, it's just something I'd heard when I was looking it up at some point.
Weird. Anyways, yeah. So sitting there in silence, feeling a little bit bad for Oates, Stone, and Warren here, because they've had these giant revelations, and according to Ababella, they're just gonna forget. Like, these poor guys aren't gonna remember all this stuff, because that's just how the world works, and they're gonna leave this place and they're not gonna remember a damn thing. Oh, poor Warren! Like all these revelations, all the research, all the things he could prove.
And then on the other hand, they're thinking, well, at least I'll forget this piss weak beer.
So I'd say that, like, again, this is very common in the Zardom, like this, because you can't drink a lot of the natural water here. This is common as like, this will be what they put their.
This is what they put in their water scans.
Yeah, this is this is canteen water to them. Like,
okay.
So she's gone for that because she's seen that you've all got a little bit of a panic over you. So she's gone for like essentially, here's a glass of water. You look like you're in shock.
Also, leave it to the dwarves to turn basic water into booze. Yeah, let's name your stereotype. So, yeah, I think after just sitting there waiting for her to come back, eventually the question comes up. So, we can handle this however we want. We don't have to fix this the way that it was fixed before.
Well,
Does that change anything?
Nope. We've been doing it the way we want to since the beginning.
We don't need the seals. The seals aren't required. We could just do it another way.
within reason, yeah. The real caveat is the energy required and a way to facilitate that energy. My friends, they use the seals to cover for those who didn't ascend. For me, for Salwa, for anyone that should have been here that or shouldn't have been here after it all went down.
Seals weren't just to keep Elendor safe, they were also to keep you all here.
They're what allowed us to bend the rules in a few cases. How else do you think Iolus, for example, hasn't succumbed to the same affliction some of his people do? After so long and being not of this plane. How do you think that a dwarf, has lived longer than most of my ancestors?
We've seen this before with the seals too. I can't remember the guardians that were protecting one of the seals in the Vestilian theocracy, but they had a protector who had been doing it since the Green and Pleasant Day. Everything we've seen with Joanna, like surely that's just another example. Makes sense. The seals are power incarnate.
Joanna is fairly different, but it's...
You know Joanna?
I know what... I know what Joanna was. Who Joanna was.
Is Joanna a reincarnation of some sort?
Somewhat.
Who was she before then?
She was... She was something or someone that we hoped for. I'm going to say this as delicately as possible. There's a very strong reason that Ava chose to ascend. She couldn't bear the thought of being on the plane anymore.
Oh. This information is
enlightening. Difficult. Impossible.
if it doesn't, what I'm focusing on is it doesn't necessarily change very much for us. It's answers, it's info. It means that as we look ahead, we know something of what's coming, and that always helps in getting to where you're going. But at the same time, it doesn't change anything. We still go to fight the dragon, we still go to stop Zethagris, we still go to destroy the Blood Fort. It just really determines how we're going to work on what comes after. There's a lot of options, there's a lot of ways we could go about it.
And there's a lot of time.
That's the other big deal, and that it's not just defeating Zethagris is not just the epoch of what will come next. That's just the start. It's just the opening the door to all the new possibilities. With that knowledge, is there anything else that we need to do? I mean, we've run all over the world. We've found all the seals. We've done what we can, but is there anything left to do other than just go back to Seat, make our final preparations, finish up everything that we want that we're going to use in this fight, and just doing it?
Aye, there's one thing. And I think you have already been on its path. Somewhat. While the seals aren't important to, how you perfectly put it, end the epoch, you'll need a conduit between the energy in your cells. Cosmium can be that conduit, if prepared properly. I will give you and your allies exactly what you need in terms of the ritual, the bits you're missing. Because I'm sure you haven't pieced all of it together.
We know what goes into making it. We know it's an alloy, but it's a crafting process that someone's been trying to figure out for months now. If not longer, knowing him. Because again, we know that it's a mithril mixed with blood silver, Elysium gold mixed with adamantine, and those two as an alloy is what makes cosmium. We learned that from Yannick.
Yannick? That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
We get around.
Apparently there were some anvils in the Church of Ascension. Hammer. Actually, I think Breton has the hammer. He'll pull the hammer out and set it on the table.
Yannick was a dear friend of mine during the Green and Pleasant Day. I'm glad to see that they've helped you in a little way.
Oh, yeah, he was very helpful, even though he's no longer got any skin in the game. Touch.
Yeah, I'm gonna flap Valymr. Just give slap. That's rude.
Yeah, you didn't know him. He had a good sense of humor. You'd have appreciated that one.
No, I think we need to go to Nautifel first.
To do the blood pool of...
I think we need to do that first before we engage. Yeah.
Weaken Zethagris. I agree.
We can't do that too soon, because if we destroy it too early, then Zethagris is going to know what we're doing. That was why the plan was beat one and then do the other as quickly as possible.
We don't want to send our army marching north into a slaughter until we know they're weakened. We need to attack simultaneously. I agree. Timing is critical. One might even say time is nothing, but timing is essential. The hard part is we don't know how long it's going to take us to destroy the conduit, or the relay between the Blood Plane and Zethacris. We have the means to do it.
Hey.
But judging on literally just looking at Zethacris caused one of our friends' brains to bleed, I can't imagine it would take Zethacris much effort to destroy whatever invasion we sent. We need to wait until we've put that item in the lake before we send anything at all.
Zethacris won't be on the front line. I don't think he can afford to. Even with all his power, even with all the might that Null's imbuing him with, if he's on the front line, then he's not protecting whatever source of power that is giving him that magic. He's not maintaining the conduit. The Isle of the Dragons, Breton will bring out his book on ley lines. There's a conduit there, a conduit that magic flows through. It is a source of power that he's using, I imagine, to connect to Null. If he leaves that, he is not being empowered, which means he is not fulfilling the ritual. He is not expanding the scar in the sky. He is not making the world worse. So, the armies do their part. They fight the dragons, they front the foot soldiers, they help us get to where Zethacris is. We destroy the keep, we sever the connection, and once that's severed, we go and deal with Zethacris ourselves.
Yep.
How much of a drain do you think it is going to be fighting our way to this blood pool? Like, if we do this and then immediately go and try and reach Zethacris, are we going to be too weakened by that effort?
I originally suggested that depending on how many of us we order for this, that we split ourselves into two groups, one that handles the blood pool and one that handles Zethacris. Either way, it's going to be a fight. Because if we're part of the army as well, I mean, we're going to be fighting a horde of dragons, cultists, and who knows what else is up there.
I have an answer to that one. I think you might be somewhat aware that one of the items you hold still has a lot of potential.
The final ritual of the chalice.
The final ritual of the chalice. It will allow you to unlock your, for lack of a better description, true heroistic selves. Bridge the gap between your ultimate potential and your current self. The person you choose to become, or one of the people you choose to become, and the now. It can only be done when the ley lines are weak enough. It can only be crafted, completed, when the end is nigh.
After we screw up this big old blood pool.
Better to prep it. Aye. Then go as your contingent.
Sounds fun. Ultimate potential, huh?
Okay, so we've got blood pool, we've got Zethacris, we've got the order in which those need to be done. Is there anything we've got to do before we get to that? Or is it our next stop after this is Nardathel, is the portal, is the keep on the blood plane and the pool of evil?
I've been curious why Kai Tang hasn't shown up really, but I suppose that's kind of out of our hand now.
More of a curiosity.
Yeah.
Kai Tang is, I imagine it's doing much the same way what the dwarves are. I mean,
Lockdown.
insular society, they see this as an invasive threat, a threat to the nation. They're going to protect themselves, not participate. They don't. From what we've learned about them, they don't necessarily play well with others.
Yeah. No, I think our next step is Nautilus.
Cross the T's, dot the I's.
We need to get in contact with everyone. We need to make sure that anyone that we're going to need this knows that it's time to do this.
And like I said, you'll need a form of Cosmium in that final confrontation. Have an idea what will be most useful to whoever's going towards the end. Something that you could all use. Something ready to, well, keep the energy from destabilizing everything. Keep it all in your capable hands.
We're going to need that for each one of us. So, depending on what we pick, we may need a fair amount of Cosmium. Knowing how to make it will certainly make that easier, but there's still a lot of outer.
You can find a lot. The Constellarium located all the Cosmium on the planet. We can find it and go get it. Easier than fighting devils and demons all day, I hope.
Is there limits to the Constellium? Is there something that can block its sight, block its knowledge?
Whilst star map is a curious device, it works on a lot of literals. There is a few things that can block it, but none of rock and steel. As long as you've got an object of Cosmium at the time, maybe one or two as a fail-safe, it should be enough. Besides,
all of us can wield swords relatively well.
It only has to be there in the final strike. And it doesn't have to last. Once you've obtained that power, that's when you'll really have the ability to shape it.
All of us can wield weapons relatively well. All of us can wield armor relatively well.
It'll take a lot of Cosmium. And we know where it is, but it's also going to take time to get it. Zep might have an idea about the most efficient way to do that. The Iron Duke might have an idea. But there's lots of ways we could do it. Weapons, armor are ideas. Rings could be simple, easy. If it's not a matter of how much Cosmium is used, just a matter of it being there as the conduit, then rings would be a very efficient way to do it.
I do need a few more days to continue working on my spell.
You might want to contact the Iron Duke once we get the actual process of getting Cosmium made. He may already have the materials he needs to start making it in mass. We know he's been
working on it, yeah.
Working on it. And from there, it's just putting on the final touches.
If you want once we've finished this luncheon, follow me to my forge. I'll make sure you have what you need in terms of recipe. If there's anything else creative you can think of, let me know. Sadly, I would offer my services helping, but if I leave here, my time is extremely limited.
In the event that destroying the Blood Keep, destroying the Blood Lake, trying to sever the connection to Null, and Zethagris does not work, The seals were created as a way to keep the outer planes out. Is there something that we could craft with Cosmium or designed in the same concept? Is there something that we could create as a weapon that would sever Zethacris's power at the source? Like what is the way to think of it? Like a magnet that if you were to stab it into him or set it up around him, that it would act as a repellent to the divine energies that come from beyond, separate him physically from what he's trying to do.
Something could be crafted to delay him in such a way, but it would only delay. It would not hold forever. Almost like a localized seal. So, the elephant is in the room. I don't know if you've fully triggered what Zethacris is really kind of doing. You, as a group, are championing good. He and his kin, in essence, are championing bad. They have as much power to shape the end of this transitory period as you do. Keep that in mind, especially when you face him. But it is exactly for those reasons, while you are the people that will be able to beat him.
I suppose all that's left is finish up dinner and get on with it. You mentioned that the final ritual and everything won't be possible even until the ley lines are at their weakest. I don't suppose we have a timetable on that.
Right now, you and Zethacris have relatively been gaining power at an equal. The shock of severing the connection, that'll be a weakness. At the same time, if he's allowed to continue unmatched, his power will outgrow yours. Then, the lines will be weak again. But the favor will be his.
I don't want to wait. I'd rather just start getting this done. I have things that have to be finished, but we don't want to wait longer than that.
Yep. Can the spell you're crafting be done on the road?
Oh, theoretically, if I have a few hours, yeah.
Anything we can do to help speed it along?
Unfortunately, Valymr, this one's kind of on me. Not to say your spellcasting abilities are not exceptional, but this is, to put it not too fine of a point, the absolute pinnacle of magic.
Well, as far as I understand it, all of my magical ability is given to me from external sources, and yours comes from within, so that makes sense that you can do things that I can't.
The spell that I'm crafting, in theory, should be able to annihilate just about anybody who catches the business end of it. Even Zethacris.
One can hope.
The problem is hitting him with it, but that's a different problem for a different day. And I can only do it once.
I'll hold up the amulet of ultimate goodness and say, this thing has 3 chances to get the job done as well in a similar fashion. But after that, if he evades it 3 times, then this thing goes poof.
So whenever I cast it, I need to make sure he can't dodge.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me.
So you just gotta combine those tactics. Like,
all right, throw the whole monster at him. Everybody will hit him eventually. He'll get paralyzed. In the meantime, I have been working on another spell, but that one I could probably cast eventually, sooner than that one. But we'll see.
What was it called? Not amulet.
The ultimate amulet of ultimate destiny.
I know every word lyric to that song.
Every time that comes up, you tell us.
It's like
Talisman of Pure Good.
Yeah, the Talisman of Pure Good.
Yeah. I have 3 charges. If I'm wearing or holding it, I can use an action to expend a charge from it and choose a creature I can see on the ground within 120 feet of me. If the target is of evil alignment, Flaming Fissure opens under it. It must succeed a DC 20 Dex save or fall into the fissure and be destroyed, leaving no remains. I have 3 chances to use that. I assume Zethacris is of evil alignment. Just throwing that one out there. Like, I mean, I feel like
on the ground.
That's the given. Unfortunately, he's a dragon. Dragon's well known not for being on the ground.
Yeah.
Ruby will show Valymr her notes. It's glyphs and it's magecraft of its highest caliber. But the spell is called.
Go for it. No.
The spell is called Dies Irae.
Oh, nice. Oh god, no! I'm just thinking of the. Never mind. No, it's fine. With my eyeballs of I can read everything. Is there anything I can make out in this esoteric rune crafty bollocks?
Yes, but that's because like the main writing symbols and etc. are familiar to you in the same way that like it's one of those things of
I can read math. Do I understand it?
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. You understand that that's the symbol pi, but what it's doing in this context, fuck knows.
X2 plus X2y plus zy plus y plus 2 plus 4 to the 5th power. Yeah, I can read that. Doesn't mean I know what the fuck it says.
Yeah, exactly.
I would combine the +2 and +4, and then I'm done.
Remember PEMDAS, which apparently is not a thing anymore.
It was always BODMAS for us.
Yeah, we have BODMAS or BIDMAS because we don't call them.
We call it brackets.
Yeah, we say brackets.
We call it parentheses.
Instead of parentheses, yeah. So we have brackets, so it's BIDMAS or BODMAS, depending if we call them brackets.
I have to ask, what was the tune then that you had to remember in order to remember the order of operations? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Dear Aunt Sally, yeah.
Hang on, is there a mnemonic?
I don't know if there is.
I nailed that pronunciation.
Mnemonic device. Because I know you guys have, for remembering the rainbow colors, is Richard of York gave battle in vain.
Oh yeah, there is that one. Or you
we just call it Roy G. Biv.
Or I just learned the I can sing a rainbow, which is red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue.
Which is not in the right order at all. That song is not even close.
No, but it's also
no, we
No,
don't.
we just went on a full-on tangent, guys.
I need to get
Anyway.
I need to get out one like mnemonic word thing that I could never spell the word variety when I was younger, so I had to learn a phrase to like make me learn it.
You know what mine was?
What?
Cereal. Cereal.
Fair enough. Yeah, totally.
Took me I have vivid memories of learning to spell cereal.
So for me, it was very angry rabbits insist everyone try yogurt. That's
Those rabbits though.
they're so on it for you. I know it's like because is often one for kids as well. Anyway, end of the world is happening.
So yes, you can read the glyphs, but knowing what they say is.
I would say you've seen enough spell scrolls as well where you can put like, oh, okay, so this sequence is probably some sort of enchantment. This is a lot of evocation, like, but the actual structure, like, yeah.
Valymr, make a religion or arcana check if the DM will let me.
Sure.
Religion or arcana? I'm better at arcana.
It's probably more
Go for it.
prevalent here.
Dirty 20.
It is a 3-part sequence of spells that combine the power of mortality, the power of heaven, and the power of the elements all together into a single channel.
All right, now Lambert is going to roll an intelligence check.
Lambert is. I see.
Essentially, Ruby is channeling everything she has ever learned about herself and everything she's ever done into a single moment in time. And to quote that one Gundam line, my love, my sorrow, and something when he's...
Take this, my love, my hate, and all of my sorrow.
That's the line. Thank you.
That's G Gundam, Domin Kashu. It's the shining, it's the blazing shining sword.
You fucking nerds.
I'm a
I
fucking...
know the full line.
Listen, you can't
I
see
stay
this.
with
I've
love.
got a master grade Physalis box just sitting right
Bro,
here.
stop the
I
receipt.
build Gunpla. I
No
built
has the
Gunpla.
receipts.
I haven't opened this one. I've had it over for like a year and a half now, but I fucking got it.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That is fair.
That was the video game nerd equivalent of the fact that David Tennant kept using Tchaikovsky's skull in Hamlet, even when everyone freaked out that it was actually Tchaikovsky's skull. And
Having DM'd for David Tennant, I gotta tell you, the guy's crazy. Wonderful, but he's an absolute lunatic.
oh yeah,
That's a story.
but anyway,
I mean,
It's Dragon Con. Anyway, we'll talk after.
It's a story I've heard before. I bad memory.
So, there you go, Valymr. That's the spell.
So notice you not got anything from the hells in there. It makes sense. I don't know if that would even help, but
Yeah, you notice the whole part of me not being involved with hell thing.
yeah.
No
yeah.
offense.
No, it's your benefit, and I don't recommend it.
It's Caloris' power, Soul's power, and my power. Everything I've ever learned. Everything I am.
Right. Hope it works.
Me too. I hate to put a lot of effort into it just for him to roll a nat 20.
I don't know what one of those is, but hopefully not.
yeah, it's really tough when you have something that rewrites the laws of causality and somebody beats it just by sheer dumb luck.
I just got beat by a metaphysical
Words are hard.
Words are, in fact, a thing that are difficult on occasion.
Anyway, thanks for the lunch. We've got to get to Nonathel. Or Iron Duke first.
wait, follow me
I think
for a
we
moment.
should stick around until she
Follow
shows us how
first,
to make
yeah.
an osmium
Oh,
before we
right.
take off.
She old lady dawdles her way to one of the other branches of this,
Waddle.
which opens up into again kind of more a forge sanctum. It's kind of almost an armory of just elegant weapons, armors, chain, metal sculptures, all sorts of essentially metallic arts, but also books and manuscript. And she pulls out. She's going across this bookcase of huge, desk-shattering tomes, until she goes right to the end, to a small, leather-bound manual. Probably no more than, to use European terms, A5 for North American standard letter size paper. It's soft, yellowed leather bound in a simple tie. And she just turns and hands it to you, Breton. That's it. That's all you need.
That's it.
Weren't expecting the knowledge of the gods to be in some sort of golden tablet or idol, were you?
No, if you make it out of gold, people are likely to just try and steal it. But you put it on a piece of paper and people won't pay it half a mind.
In the most nondescript book of my collection. Hey.
Imagine Breton just kind of holds it like. This is also the pinnacle of smithery that he's holding in his hands at the moment. It's like he was raised as the son of a smith, and while he's not much of a smith now, it's just like, huh. All right. Take good care of it.
I know you will. Oh, and Breton, make a perception check.
Dice, give me sight beyond sight. That was
Really going with the references today.
That's a 9. It is a reference, yes.
Okay.
You know what?
Go ahead. Do it.
We've presumably got our daily rerolls because I imagine we aren't. Because we would remember, obviously, to use our luck stone, the Luxon beacon every single day. So I'm going to use that to reroll that.
You definitely have one of those.
That got much better. 23.
Okay.
Ruby, were we together at the beginning of the day? We were, weren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
You will also have a luck point then.
Yay.
What was the boon we chose for the day?
The one giving us a plus D10, 12, the 2D something.
The Mother
It's
Wild's
the
Blessing?
inspirational.
That's what I thought it was, because I remember us talking, like, which one do we think is the most useful, and that one just being, like, having 3d12s every day, like, that's freaking huge. I mean, that's useful. Also, bonus teleports.
I do lament that if we ever become beyond mortal, I won't be able to make my tavern.
It's a choice. It has to be a choice. I mean, each of them made choices, right? Elendor, Valymr, Scanador. They made the choices to do that, to ascend. They could have said no.
Yeah, could have. But then big picture problems would have happened, and I am selfish, but I'm not that selfish.
Hey, but I stayed behind. Nemo stayed behind. Salwa stayed behind. Ulrich stayed behind.
Yeah, but you aren't even really living. Respectfully, you've lived in this cave since forever.
That doesn't mean they didn't have a life before.
No. We had so many years in the Green and Pleasant. We had so many years in the 100 after, before the Ascension. Sure, I'm living in somewhat isolation now, but if I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to help you. We knew what we did wasn't going to be permanent because of the choices that we made. 'Cause, 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 'c So it became our duty to be ready for when we were needed again. You know, before our eventual homecoming. I'm surprised. You don't seem as interested in the Green and Pleasant. I know.
I don't.
Well, just... It was a lot more than so much of what you guys think of it.
I suppose then it's a case of we don't know what we don't know, right?
The information that ties back to it, for the longest time, many thought the Green and Pleasant Day was just a day. It was just a moment in time before things were over. And we learned, obviously, that it was much longer than that. It was all the time you had after, before time sort of started up again. I think we still have it. Breton will pull out one of the journals we got in the Shattered Shields from a person who was talking about what was going on after the Green and Pleasant Day, and just kind of like show that to her. This is some of the most of the information we've gotten from it, a first-hand account of somebody going through, I think, before and going up till when it started.
Much of what we know and grew up knowing is lost in myth and hyperbole and religious dogma.
I suppose that's what happens after time. Can I show you a painting, please?
Of course.
I'm always here for artwork.
It's one of my favourites. That I made it back then. She takes you to what actually seem to be more like living quarters. Away from all the workshops, the greenery, the little gardens, the little breweries, the little areas to create. And you see this tapestry. It depicts a beautiful blue sea and a almost mini continent with various biomes and climates, all of them the perfect depiction of what they could be. And in those areas you see 10 towering spires built like cities, with one in the center, one so familiar to you.
Is it we saw at the Shattered Shield? Or is it the mountain where the
summit
happened? Yeah.
Yeah. Summitas.
So that's what it looked like before it all went to shit.
We spent an age in itself in the light of the Green and Pleasant. The 10 cities with perfect harmony, beauty. To have lived a life in these halls, to have lived many lifetimes in these halls, is worth it for every second that I got to spend there, that we all got to spend there. The last 1,000 or so years is nothing compared to the thousands or tens of thousands we spent that day creating something so magical and beautiful.
How long have we been on this journey? Since Retbury.
Getting close to 2 years now. For you all, I think. It's about 1 year and 6 or 7 months.
You know, ever since I started this path, I never aspired to be a hero. Not like these two, anyway. Paladins in their own right, champions of good and what have you. I just kind of flow along with it. And everything I have learned through this bizarre journey has taught me that I am fighting for the right to make a choice for myself when I've never ever been able to make for myself, and that is to determine what I want to do with my life. And I see Joanna, and I see all the others that we've met that are bound in this damn war we're caught in, trying to rectify the mistakes of the past, to undo the problems that happened from your 10,000 years of bliss. I guess what I'm really aiming at is I want to make a choice that doesn't leave me alone. Nothing is worth that. And she'll look to Breton. Especially not an eternity. I'm sorry, Breton, for what I did.
As we've learned already, there will be plenty of time. It's something that I've been saying over and over again as we've been doing this, but this is not the time to be settling personal affairs. This is not the time to be worrying about our own personal issues and needs and such.
If we don't make that time, it won't ever be given to us. We're going from one battlefield to the next, one tragedy to the next, again and again and again, and then we're going to get to the end, and things are going to remain unsaid, and I don't want them to be unsaid.
We are literally fighting to have the opportunity to start the time after. A time where the battles are done and everybody can figure out what they want their lives to be next. I've said it a dozen times and I'll say it a dozen more, I feel, before it's over. Today is not the day. It can wait until tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know if another green and pleasant day is what we're working towards. I don't know if it's just going to be calm or perfect or more chaos, but I have to assume that stopping Zethacris will mean things get better, not worse. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm focusing on. That is everything that I'm thinking about. I can't get distracted by other things. with that out. It's a lovely painting, Ava. I wish we could have seen it in its glory, at its heyday, when it was real and not just a memory, not just a painting. Maybe we'll get to make something that's like that. Maybe not that, but maybe we'll get to find something that we appreciate as much as what that was to all of you.
I wanted you to see this. To say one last thing. In all of the cycles, in all of the epochs, in all of the eras, an era, a time, does always catch up with us. You can change it. Sure. You can protect it and you can hold on to it as long as you possibly can. But there are forces greater than the ley lines. There are forces greater than the watchers beyond, than the power that I so hope you all get to wield and shape with. That will react. Just, I hope you do it better than we did. If we made this and held on to this for an age, I'm hoping you can make your futures last as long as possible. I don't have every answer, but I do have every hope.
You got complacent, didn't you? And I don't mean that in a way that you got complacent, you started making mistakes, and you started letting the things that shouldn't do what they did. You were living life and bliss and everything you wanted. But it doesn't matter how perfect something is. Enough time of anything, and you are going to grow tired. And when you got tired, the more tired you got, the less it felt like you needed to keep everything the same.
She looks solemn for a moment. Nods a little. Aye. And when we stretched the fabric so much to give us so much time, when we realized what we had done, we'd only had enough energy to set the cycle in action again. Give the world that we created a chance to exist through lineage, through people's choices, through new lands, through new designs, through living in the fragment of the memory. And by them forgetting us, and for us creating the seals, and for us making those small sacrifices in the grand scheme of things. Our peoples, our friends, got to experience that joy a little washed down, but for a little longer.
You mentioned the cycle, and obviously with us doing it now, it seems obvious that this is something that is repeating itself. Were you the first? how many cycles have there been? How many groups like us, like you, have there been doing this?
I have wrapped my brain with that a lot. Nemo was obsessive over it. And the truth is, we don't know. You've seen the mirrors. The truth is, it could be happening thousands of times over, and we'll still never know. I posit that something happened long ago, longer than even the gods remember. And that we are all just ripples in the fabric since. Maybe there is a way to end the cycling. Or maybe there's a way to repair everything well enough that the cycle is even longer than the time before. There's no real measure. There's no real knowing. I always thought that the different epochs before the War of the Heavens were their own cycles. Now I'm not even sure of that. I just care about the things that I've created, the people that I've met. It's so beautiful, the place that you call Elendor. It's so beautiful what we had. And to think of a world where people don't get the chance to do what they want, live their lives, it's just unbearable. I'd take every second I've spent in here and every minute I've caused out there over someone else's idea of perfect. The world that I grew up in was a world in chains. I guess the world today is still a world in chains, but the binding is so transparent, it's barely harming it. Better the world I came from, at least. But as children of this world that we all helped create, maybe the lesson and the world that you will choose to make will be even better. And whatever happens to me, I hope I get to see it in some form or another. Because I'm sure if art is anything to go by, you're not really an artist unless you can realize that some people will be better at it than you are.
Thank you, Eva.
Bella, please. Heather was my
Bella.
friend. I know it's confusing. And please, let me give you all something for the road, like, just so you can take it. Including these two, the other two, who... I'm sorry that they won't have the same experience as you do. But... yes. And she just makes you up a simple parcel of meals, gives you, like, a lot of little... She makes you essentially like a picnic basket and hamper of like, try some of my little wines, try some of my little beers, like some cheeses, some foods. She gives you like a little collection of poems, of little storybooks, children's books, all sorts of just like little knickknacks in a pretty deep picnic hamper that seems to have a little bit more space in it than maybe the packaging entails.
It's a lot to think about. But it wouldn't be us if we weren't good hands for it.
As coy as he's always been. Ulfric's always had a bit of a nose for it.
I won't be offended by the fact that he didn't choose me.
That you know of.
Considering how most of the people he chose are no longer here right now. I'm not sure if it's not just throwing darts at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Sometimes.
I think sometimes that the people he chose made their own choices to reject the choice.
Just
Everything
as
everyone is doing is still... It's all been building to this. Everyone, everything. Still taking us here.
And sure, we're down a Zep, down a Darius, down a Zedaar, down a Gourd, but we're still here. I mean, I've been running this race since Retberry.
Yeah. Been quite a road.
We're not done yet. There's still more to do.
Yes, there absolutely.
But I do see the end.
There absolutely is. But I think. Oh no, we still got a little while. I got like.
Yeah, we were at the half-hour mark. We got plenty of time for the break.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain was just like, no. I'm getting the show.
Get that talk break out of here.
Look, we had a Tuesday show last week, and the show the period lengths are shorter on the Tuesday show. That's all I got confused with. By the way, Lance is back. Everybody, check it out on Tuesday.
Lancer is back. Big Stompy Robots.
Stompy Robots is back.
Oh. Nautathel? Or Legren's Land?
We have the means to make Cosmium. We need to get that to the Iron Duke. It also gives us a chance to check on what the progress of his project is. So we know exactly how long he needs until we can go through with that.
The crown, yeah.
Are we able to teleport out of here safely, or do I need to walk out first?
I would, as long as you leave my front door, I think you should be fine.
Okay.
If we don't see you again, then thank you. Both for all the information you just given and for the era that you helped create.
Oh, and Ruby will leave her cookbook. Hopefully you find something interesting in here.
Oh, you don't have to do that, but
I've memorized everything. I can rewrite it.
Well, okay then. I will be sure to give it a go.
May your life find good flavor.
It's now mandatory for you to take Keen Mind feat as your next feat.
Cut to just like the most miscellaneous, like you forget to add just a little bit of salt to this and a little bit of like sugar to that. It's just like isn't the same. It just isn't.
Believe it or not, very few recipes that Ruby makes use salt. She does not use a lot of it, except the Dwarven recipes. Those always have bloody salt in them. I don't.
Lambert IRL does not like salt in anything.
I try to avoid it. Salt and butter, I try to avoid them desperately. I think it's cheating. You can make anything salty or buttery.
I'm just learning like the taste of salt. Just salt and something made it taste like salt. I like the taste of salt, so salt.
Not me licking actual just salt rock.
Vile human being.
Like some sort of human goat. Anyway,
I saw a thing on. No, I'll tell you the break.
all right. So, gang.
Well,
what's
been
the
a
plan?
cheer. Legran's land.
Okay. Oats.
Please keep your arms in.
Oats and Warren are. Oat gives you guys a nod and make sure that you'll see Warren out, and the two of them part ways. Warren thanking you for this experience. But okay. You cast the very familiar.
I hope what you saw here. I hope the inspiration for it just keeps on driving you to go forward.
Give you a curt nod and say their farewells and thank you for the experience. But Ruby begins to. Are you using teleportation circle or just teleport?
Staff.
Staff. Okay. You clink the staff, and the side of it glows with the runes of the well-known to you sigil in Legrand's land within the lighthouse.
Chunk.
And once more, you move time zones.
Later in the day.
Earlier in the day.
We're going east.
This world goes
So
backwards.
IRL, if we go east, we go earlier in the day. No, we don't. That's a lie.
You go later
Never mind.
in the day. You are 3 hours ahead
You know
of
what?
me, Lambert.
You got the world rotating
I'm only
the
two- no, I'm only
correct
2
way,
hours
which
ahead.
is the wrong way.
Right.
You guys
Right.
teleport so hard the sun flips in the sky.
Look, when
it's
we're
just- it's just
crafting the next
another
great and
thing.
pleasant day, can we turn the sun back around?
It's just another thing that Elendor has done to fuck with us. Like, breaking a seal fixes a seal, but that's only because the seals are broken. The sun flips the other way to flip the other way because it's going backwards. It's just everything is an inconvenience. Guys, the truth is, we're in a mirror. We're in a mirror, so everything is opposite day. That is what Elendor is. Surprise!
the
I've revealed the big
between the
secret
mirror.
of the
Oh my
campaign!
gosh, he's worked out what the... There might
We
be
live
something
inside a
to
black
that
hole.
theory. There might be something to that theory, you know? There might be a reason that I've been hinting that things are slightly backwards for a little while.
We live in a black hole.
We're in the margins of the pages.
All right.
Oh, I like that. That's poetic. But yes, the familiar salty brine air of Legrand's land fills... I mean, the time of day has not really shifted, as there is still an apocalyptic sky, and you still see the crackle of the large shielding around the city.
That's the best thing about Doom being in the sky. It's like, I wonder what time it is. Ah, yes. Angel rolled a clock. Of course. Yes. Can set my watch by this.
Still red. Red sky in the morning. Everyone's warning.
You say Armageddon is right more than twice a day, even with the broken clock.
Can you imagine if every clock broke as well?
It's just grr. Doom, 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 doom.
I imagine the only clocks that exist are the ones in, like Zep's
Land.
workshop.
Sundials have
Go
been
speak to
useless.
the Iron Duke.
You make your way to the Fistum, to the great stronghold in the volcano. You are so well known, you're not stopped. Even a barricade couldn't stop your face at this point, in terms of the sway you have over this world. You are shown to the Iron Duke's chambers, the same location you've been many a time. And the scene you enter in is petty bickering, as the Iron Duke seems to be sizing Eolas properly for what seems to be a relatively finished crown. However, the two seem to be... Eolas knows it's not quite the same. And he's being very adamant to it. And it's one of those things of, even though the door is unlocked to you, even though you are shown in, the two are so locked in on their task that neither of them have noticed you three enter.
Gentlemen, should I send you home without your supper?
I'm just trying to tell the Duke here that the left-hand side isn't quite the fit. We'll come back to this later, Eolas. Just... Ruby, Breton, Valymr. It is always good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you. I believe Breton has something for you.
We have been across the world and back. We have
Twice.
seen the highest mountains. We have seen the depths of the earth. And we have transgressed into places where time quite literally does not seem to pass.
Yeah,
So here's a book.
This...
But for me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah,
And
what
here's
else
a
is wrong
book.
with you? But,
I mean-
thank you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I'm always happy to receive gifts. What is the book?
Evidently, it is a comprehensive process of how to make osmium.
The Iron Duke goes from subtly confused to mind blown.
I haven't had a chance to look at it myself yet. We sort of came straight here after we received it, but I imagine there's more into it. The gods know what this book could teach people about forging things.
My God.
Mein Gott.
By the lights and gems of absolute creation, that is... that is... this thing? And he's looking at it. It looks to be about probably 60 pages at most. And he just puts it down on a like, not even a desk, like a side table, like pushes the lamp off and just so carefully like opens the leather ribbon, turns the page, pulls out like a set of tweezers from inside like his utility belt and just starts turning pages. And it's just like with every page turn his eyes like glow a little brighter with enthusiasm.
So yeah, that's everything we need for that. That puzzle is done. It also revealed to us the importance of Cosmium and everything we're doing now. It's not just about making the seals. Evidently, this battle that's coming up is the end to something big, and it is being represented by forces on either side. We have in our possession something that is going to help balance the scales, which you could say that was literal, but it's not the scales we're using to do that. Cosmium acts as a conduit. It acts as a means for the power to access us as much as we can access the power. So we're going to need Cosmium items for everyone. At the very least, probably a dozen items at the very minimum.
Iron Duke's nods. I will...
What we did not discuss is whether or not Breton will gesture towards the Blade of Equilibrium. The fact that all of us are holding weapons that I believe are made of Cosmium. Do those count?
I don't have a Cosmium weapon.
You have something...
You're
that
not
has
wearing Brayless
Cosmium.
Heart?
You have Brayless Heart. That has Cosmium intertwining with gems.
pretty sure each of us is using and carrying
Godmother's
one of the
gift,
scales.
yeah.
What cosmium am I wearing or using or?
You've got the scales.
True.
Basically, all of the seals have something about them that's cosmium.
That's a fair point. You've been carrying the scales. I don't know if you're permanently attuned to the scales, which attunement might be a thing, it might not. Who knows? But you have.
Last time I used this.
I know you were carrying them.
I remember when I did the talisman of ultimate doodads. I had to attune, and then I unattuned from it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not currently attuned to the scales. I'm attuned. Actually, I've only got 2 things. Oh, I unattuned from the animated shield.
But yeah, that's the current process. We're moving forward. In fact, we are pushing into the end game now. We are making final preparations to deal with the keep, to deal with Zethagris, and deal with everything. We've been meeting a lot of your friends, by the way. As Breton kind of turns over to Eolus.
Make an insight check.
$13.
So it seems I remember. That's a odd sentence. But I feel like there's no other way to say it.
It's been happening to all of you. The more that the people of the world seem to know, learn, and remember, the more that the people who are already here remember about what's happened before. Telhua, Bella. We didn't find Nemo, Ulrich. We've spoken to most of them.
Whatever it was you've done recently has left my mind the most clearest it's been in thousands of years. And he hard swallows. Well, we had the gods on our side. It seems you have those who survived the last pleasant day on yours.
Gods would still be nice as well, though, I'm not gonna lie.
If everything is falling apart as I think it is, then they have their own battles that they're fighting. They're giving us as much time as they can.
We're trying not to keep them waiting anymore.
We're going to Nardethal next to prepare to go assault the Blood Keep.
Good.
Can someone remind me? Didn't we was it something we messaged Salwa, and she, like, we placed the
I've got the crystal.
seed, crystal, whatever. We put it in the blood, and then we can message Salwa to say, "Boom! Now, go."
Yes.
Right.
That's essentially how it works. Yes.
Okay, so then everything, like the whole thing I was thinking about of we need to time things perfectly is like.
You can. Yes.
Yeah, that's then pretty easy.
Well, still got to get to it first.
Oh yeah, you've got to get.
Well, yeah. But like the timing part of it is easier than I thought. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the concern that came up is we don't want to leave that unattended. We don't want to just toss it in the lake and say it'll be fine, because if something removes it from the lake while we're not there, suddenly all our plans fall apart. So the window is still a little tighter than we can't just toss it in the lake and be like, we're good now. Take however long we want. That could be a problem.
Yes.
So we need to get the forces in seat ready and let them know to get ready to commence their assault. At the same time, we need to assault the Blood Keep, and they need to be activated almost simultaneously. So when one goes to the other one gets depowered, and we can hit them at the same time. Timing is still involved, but it is a little bit easier on our part.
The fleets are all very much almost ready to begin. Of course, time is flux when you go into the plains. So, you getting a little bit of a head start and the timing of when you arrive back, hopefully we might have completed a lot of our traveling.
Remind me how sending stone... Sorry.
But moving an army...
They can cross planes.
They can cross planes, but when the message is received and when the reply is... can be a little... funky sometimes. Moving an army of this size is not going to go unseen. But we know that.
No.
The real tell is you playing your hand. Our hand is but the distraction on all fronts. It's your timing that matters, not ours. Everyone on long reach and as many allies as we could gather are ready to fight. It's down to you to get us there now.
How's Joe?
Joanna she's doing very well, all things considered. She is taking to this scenario impossibly well, better than I am. She is growing in strength recently. There is no two ways about it.
All right. Brent, do you want to say goodbye to your family for a while before we do this?
No.
Valymr?
Yeah, I'll go see Mum.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you something before we go, Eolus. You're the oldest elf on Elendor. You are alive during the Green and Pleasant Day. You have seen and experienced things as an individual that most can't. But you're also an elf, and elves didn't come from Elendor. You came from another place, a plane, different reality, however you want to phrase it. What we're learning about this, I wanted to know, why did your people come here? How did they come here?
Why?
When I first arrived, it was as a soldier. We caught... Before this plane is what it was now, before everything. The elements and the abyss, the devilkin, they'd all arrived. The elemental has a habit of creating life when it clashes. When rock and fire and water meet, land forms. Trees are born. Those trees had their own song. We moved here as settlers and protectors of yet another new forest that was being violated by the abyss and by the hells. That's how I came to dance in the light of this world. Why I left the courts. And then I just grew fond. My children were born here. My life was here, my people were here, my friends were here. And now, as I understand it, in my more forgetful years, the sacrifice that some of my friends made are the only reason I'm still here.
If what we pieced together was true, the reason you're still here is that crown. It's part of the way the seals work, is they have so much power that they literally let you break the rules of the plains, break the rules of Elendor. That's why you haven't succumbed to Shadowlong like all the other elves, like your kin. That's why you don't seem to suffer the same afflictions they do here.
That makes a lot of sense.
He's actually turned to the leggings around the Iron Duke. It's also why Joanna is so capable. There's more to it than that, from what we heard, but anything connected to a seal, anything that's life empowered by it, is just
Which is why
simplified.
And it makes sense why I've been able to extend my life such. It is the power of everything I've learned with Selite, with... I guess it all connects back. And I guess it is why it explains, you know... everything I've learned, everything I've done. It's how I broke the rules. If anything is to go by with this, it was I who first broke a current seal. Sure, by accident, but you cannot deny that my advances since are an affront to the Order, in a sense. I wouldn't change any of it for the world, but it makes sense why I've been able to also bend the rules so much.
It wasn't you, somebody else would have done it eventually anyway.
Yeah.
To be fair, once all this is said and done, there's a decent chance that there's going to be a whole new set of rules that everybody has to play by.
Hopefully we are around to see it.
Cold.
I'm gonna give it a moment for you to adjust your blanket because it's picking up on the microphone as you do so.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So, tasks laid, timetable set. The ley lines of Elendor are also weakening, and as they weaken, so too does more power eke into the plane. They will come to a time where the precipice of that will mark the final assault on the Dragon Isles. The way we're planning this now, it seems like we should hopefully be done with the Bloodkeep by the time that happens. So we know what window we're all working for.
But we have some friends coming with us to the Bloodplane. Your mentor, right, is on this.
Elwyn is waiting with his soldiers to go in. Hopefully things haven't been too bad, since that is an actual portal to the Abyss, and I hope it hasn't become overrun, since it's just... I hadn't considered what natural portals, what those would be like now. I mean, if things are
Probably easier.
Yeah, it's... there's no longer a lock on the door, it's just wide open and whatever wants can come through. I don't imagine that situation has been very fun.
From what I understand, he has the back of the king, of the High King of Anardathel. They are, a lot of their fort. A not so insignificant portion of an army is there.
Yeah.
Shall we go?
We'll get things sorted here. We'll find a way for us to relink, and we'll put up the final call to allies. You've got to succeed with the keep. Otherwise, we're going to have no chance over there.
We might want to take some time to actually contact all the individuals we know. Those that might want to go with us and start telling them it's now or never.
Zap!
This is it. I don't imagine you're going to get much time for research while we're in the Hells. Probably going to be a little distracted.
I'll try to get it done before we get there, to get to the Dragon Isles. I don't think I'm going to be able to use it in the Hells anyway.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If this window
Wherever.
is going to be tight, then after we finish up with the Abyss, there may not be time before we go to the Dragon Isles.
I'm just under halfway done. I would need another week to get it all done before then. Do we have that kind of time? I could skip sleeping for a couple of days, but you know me without coffee.
I think if you're skipping sleep, that's actually, you're going to have more coffee, not less.
It would be risky to teleport straight towards the farmstead where the portal is. We could teleport to Nardathel and walk. That would give us a couple of days, and we can see what the situation is there. We don't also know how mustered the armies are to do this. They may need some days too, so we may benefit to take a day, make our way to speak with old Godwin.
Godric.
Godwin?
You're
Is it
talking
Godric
the
or
High
Godric?
King,
The High King.
the Emperor. Oh, sorry, yes, Godwin. Godric,
Godric,
sorry.
Godric, yeah. Is it Godric or Godwin?
Godfrey?
Alfred!
Make our way to Seat, speak with Godric, make our way to the Nardathel, speak with the High King, whose name I can't remember my own High King, but I can remember fucking Godric.
It's because you spend more time with Godric.
Yeah, that is fair.
And there's also been 16 of them. It appears more in the I think it's
Name 3 French kings. Louis. That's on me. I made that too easy.
damn it, yeah, I made that too easy. I believe it's Gilliam? Is it Gilliam?
Is it Gilliam? Is it just like Gilliam the 27th?
It might be Gilliam, but there could be, because I know we had a lot of Ultramar jokes
we
at
can
one
find
point.
this.
I'm searching.
Easy.
Don't worry. Don't.
It's a High King Gilliam II.
Gilliam, yeah, Gilliam II. There we go.
And that was from the Council of Kings.
Guillaume.
Gilliam.
Yes, because there was lots of Robo Ghoulie Man jokes.
Yeah, Gilliam, yeah. High King Robert Gilliman.
Robot Girly Man.
Yeah, we can do that within a day. We can stretch that 2 days we want, then make the walk. Give you the chance to finish up as much of it as you can, and you can risk doing it. I don't imagine the trip through the Hells is going to be fast or pleasant. It's going to take a few days itself.
Ruby.
I said Hells again, it's Abyss.
Ruby.
I also probably not going to be spending a lot of time researching magic while in the Abyss. I'm going to be quite focused on, not dying.
Ruby. Give
Yes.
me an Arcana check, please.
Damn it! Okay. The 24.
Something is lingering on her mind. From what?
Just one.
From what Bella said. The final ritual will allow you to tap into your potential selves. This version of you that you want for the future. The most potent, most powerful version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if time is not a limiting factor, it could be argued that one of those future selves has already solved your little magic problem.
Wait, that's cheating!
What? You mean I get Deus Ex Machina for my final spell at the end regardless? Hell yeah!
Deus Ex Machina this shit. It's like, alright, let's stop trying to figure this out and just go forward to a time where we've already figured it out. Let's just cut out the middleman.
Sure.
It's gonna take the Lucy route and just become a computer that runs the world.
That can work, but I think Ruby for her has always been as much about the journey as it has been the destination.
Oh, absolutely.
She's gonna keep do as much as she can, and if she can't finish it by then, all right, well we'll cross that, you know, planar rift when we get to it.
What
but...
I, as the DM, is saying, there is always a path to supreme power.
Limited power!
Means
Sort
I
of
don't
man
want votes. Oh dear. Anyway.
I didn't do it. That was him. I didn't make the Jar Jar joke.
Throwing it at all of you as a whole. You people.
We belong there.
Anyway, I'll spend what free time I have. I don't necessarily need sleep much anymore, so...
And with that plan aired out, now we'll go to our midpoint break. So join us in 10 minutes' time, where we'll be back with more of this.
Hey, come here a minute. Do you need royalty-free music for your TTRPG content, whether that be a YouTube video, stream, TikTok, Instagram post? Don't worry, we've got you covered. My name's Alex, I've been a content creator for almost a decade now, and I've teamed up with my good friend Harry to produce 10 royalty-free songs for you to use in your content completely for free. We've tried to make a whole range of motifs with this album, covering happy music to sad music, to mystery music to combat music. And if this takes off, you know what? We might even make some more. So give the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 a shot. It's free to stream everywhere. And if you want the high quality downloads, you can come over to our Patreon and download them, or you can contact me directly at tabletop@themidgemansworld.co.uk as a creator, and I'll just give it to you for free. That's it, there's no catch. And just to prove it, we've also given you guys a user license agreement to prove that you have the complete perpetual rights to use this content. So enjoy, and good luck on your next adventure. Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighboring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Grey Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope. From the brain that's rattled and riddled with madness, a radiant pustule. Writing, art, that's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can dutifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss. Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get an extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click, an emotion so small that it could endlessly amount to possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support art. Support the component cast.
Well, welcome back. We can continue that a little bit if we want to before we jump back into the game. If we want to, we were talking about Game of Thrones in the.
We were talking about Game of Thrones and kick-ass
Um,
weapons. We were, because obviously we're thinking about the future here.
Yeah.
but
And I think Beth, were you about to say you don't think Ned wields ice?
I don't think Ned wielded ice outside of ceremonial and executions. I think he used a regular sword.
100% used ice as well.
Did he? I don't think he did.
He was well known to use so I believe in the books,
in the Greyjoy Rebellion.
Yeah, and also, but I think in the duel against the Sword of the Morning, both of them were wielding greatswords. Was the whole thing because it's not a Valyrian steel sword, but Dawn, the Dane's sword, is also a greatsword of pure white metal. But yeah,
Yet another thing they fucked up in the series. But anyway,
yeah.
Look, everything after season 4 is completely ignorable. That shit didn't happen.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a shame they admit the series half finished.
Yeah.
And that's my joke.
Shall we return to Nardathel? Or no, you wanted to go see your mother.
I don't mind not going through and not being there. Just I go and see my mum. That when we have a chat. That's it. That's nothing
Gotrek
really I want to say.
Made aware of the intentions. Gotrek should know that the final push is coming. That he should start pushing to rally the men. That it's no longer about being on watch. It is prepared to be deployed because it's going to be happening theoretically within a fortnight.
How long could we estimate it will take the ships to depart Seat and arrive at the Dragon Isles? 2 weeks?
3, closer to a month.
3 weeks?
It's an arduous trek, especially with that minimum.
We do have a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
The Iron Duke knows, Eolus knows, we should make sure Godric knows, we should also make sure Gilliam knows.
It took us 3 days to find the portal to the Blood Keep. I think. 2, maybe 2.
But now we know the way.
You were there for 3 days, but you came out 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
We're talking about getting to where the portal was.
Yeah.
Because if we teleport straight to not Givramavell, that's where Ruby's home is. The capital of Nartha. Gervalu. If we teleport to Gervalu, it's going to take us a few days to get to where the portal in the farmstead is.
1 day's hard ride. It's 1 day's hard ride, so
a day's there too. So it's more just working out logistics, and that's more what Breton wants to do. Like, this is more so like we can absolutely do this over the table. It's like he'd like to go and tell Godric, like, it is time. We need to work out logistics because the push is coming. Like, this is telling the soldiers, sorry guys, get ready to go over the wall.
Yeah.
So why don't you go to Seat, get that organized. I'll meet you in Gervalu.
How can we go without you?
Somebody can teleport you there. I'm going to be in Gervalu. I promise. I'm not going to leave there. I'm going to spend those days researching.
I mean, more if you're teleporting us to Seed, how are you just going to teleport without us to get to Gervalu?
I can teleport myself to Gervalu. There are circles there, and presumably somebody in Seat also has access to a teleportation circle that can get you to Gervalu.
Or you could consume transport via plants.
We do have that today, yes.
Either way, it's not that great stretch of an imagination. They mages there who can work the circles. That'll give me the free time I need to get as much research in as I can.
Do we want to tell over to?
Suppose we ought to.
I imagine at this point here, if Aeolus remembers everything, then he probably remembers everything as well. If there is anything he has not told us, then it's his last opportunity. I know we speak to this guy literally every single day, but we tend to get things done with an expeditive nature.
Okay. I'll leave that to you.
Either way, Seed first.
She'll teleport these guys to seat.
Okay.
Shunk. And then Ruby's going to go to Gerbaloo.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Let's start with team seat. Valymr, we'll do it just, I'm gonna, for sake of brevity in certain situations. You may have as much time as you wish to speak to your family before you go. Now that you're
I'm just mostly gonna say that went to Kensek and didn't see my sister, so I didn't kill her. She's still alive. Give her the news about what's going on. You know, like so I spoke to my uncle and all that. Give her the news and just basically say final stretch and hope we can talk in a few weeks. But if not, then this is it.
Your brother says to you that he can't wait to see you on the other side of the wall. And your mother just gives you a hug. And says good luck.
Good luck to you too. Oh, and also I'll give some of the I'll give a couple of the potions of psychic resistance.
Okay, how many?
Because they're also going to be fighting some bullshit dragons, so
you have 14.
I mean, giving 2.
Part.
Yeah, I'm going to
one
give
each.
2. One for Mum and one for my brother.
Sure, makes sense. Okay.
Breton is going to just meet with Godric, basically give him the spiel of it's time. Final preparations are being made. Within the next couple of days, everything will be ready to go. So it is up to you to determine how troops need to move. Aeolus will presumably be back soon to lead the elven forces, leaving you to lead the human forces. Fingers crossed you get along. We're also going to make our way to Gerbaloo and speak with Gilliam in order to organize the attack on the Heap in the Infinite Abyss as well. That way we can work this all out. We're going to hit it before you all get there, but hopefully the timing on that works out, considering travel from the plains can be complicated.
I'll tell the men to start mustering up the camps and clearing things down. Start loading onto the ships. Get people out to the ocean. The Isthmir is vast, but we're going to be limited to how many people we can get through the Gulf at certain times, so we're going to have to start setting the point guard out soon if we're leaving. It's going to be like floating a fucking continent out. They're not going to know what fucking hit them.
Not everything in the sky is going to be hostile. The Iron Duke has been working on these ships, airborne ships, for fighting.
Aye. I'm aware of those, and we do have our own dragons on side. Hopefully, there isn't too much cross-communication and mistakes. But frankly, I think it's going to be a case of shoot at whatever shoots at us.
Think if it's pastel or a shadow, take it down.
That works. Look, if they're in lieu of banners, I will fucking take color theory.
Red, blue, green, white, black. If it's that, shoot it. All this preparation, it is strange to know that it is here. Maybe I should go and talk to the men one more time.
They could do with it. Although morale is pretty good, but if the order is coming down that we're going, one final... Oh, we'll be doing the same, but good set of speeches and a good conversation before 3 weeks of torture and possibly battle. 4 weeks. And then an invasion of a continent on the other side. It's it's an astounding feat for the very best of us.
When this is all said and done, Breton will pull a letter out from his bag, and he's just going to set it on the counter. My father lives in the Galenfalos, and I'm not tasking you with this personally, but if when all this is said and done, if a courier can make sure this reaches its destination, assuming we're all still here to deliver letters.
Breton, I give you my word that if I don't do it myself, a member of my line, my household, or my kingdom will make sure this letter gets where it needs to go. It's the very least I can do for everything that you're doing.
I believe you. Let's go win a war.
Aye, let's go fucking win a war.
Breton's gonna do the Captain America thing one last time.
Absolutely. Give me a 6 cents of persuasion.
We're gonna throw everything at this. I'll throw.
This is not a fell's ass.
We're gonna throw persuasion at it. We're gonna use our inspiration for the session to re-roll that. Sorry guys, that decision's being made right fucking now.
That's all good.
That's still not great, but we're also gonna add one of our D12s to that. Plus a 12.
Hey.
We got to 26
Let's
on
go.
that. Hell yeah!
Started with a nat 1, ended with
As Breton just gives off the, it's like, guys, it's been a long wait. It's been days and days of red sky and no new sunrise, but the wait is over. We're not sitting here waiting for the sky to get worse. Now, we're going to go make it better.
Needs to give that Prescott speech from Gears of War 2.
We don't steal speeches. We use our own. I'm smart enough and capable enough. I could be a politician. You know what? I'm not corrupt enough to be a politician, and I say that with pride and without fear in my heart. But yeah, he'll do that and just let him know, like, this is it. This is the day. 3 weeks from now, you will be landing on foreign soil. 3 weeks from now, you will be fighting dragons.
Sounds like going freaking Iwo Jima or some
is
shit.
the night of nights. Breton.
I think deep down, Breton wishes that he wasn't going to the Bloodkeep. I think he wishes he was sailing with these guys to fight with them.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows that this is not where he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be somewhere else.
As you finish saying your speech in as plain of a common as possible, you don't speak with frills, you don't speak with the linguistics of a lord, you speak with a warrior's heart, a down-to-earth, simple, but effective tone of voice. And you just hear, first it's a single cheer, and then it's an eruption of men of all color, men and women of all color, creed, accent, and life and background, shouting the words, "For the new horizon, for the new day," as it echoes not just through the people that are gathered to hear you speak, which number in probably the thousands, but it echoes through the war camp as people use it as a call and an invigorating moment as they begin to dismantle their tents, muster to their stations, and get ready to face down the apocalypse.
think that is just, yeah. Once Valymr has finished up with what he's done, then they can make final preparations to go and make their way to Givalu.
One final drink?
I guess we could also have a final
some
drink with
platinum.
Ulrich.
Electrum, you mean?
Electrum, that's it, not platinum. Yeah, same thing. No one uses them as currency. Yeah, let's have a drink with Ulrich.
It might be our last drink. We should enjoy it.
Find Breton.
Mm-hmm.
Just I'll follow the murmur of, let's go create a dawn. And we'll go to a bar. 3 Electrum on the bar, and I'll have 2 of your house specials of cider. That was it, wasn't it? That was something.
House specials is correct.
House specials. There we go. Yeah. We're down to 27 Electrum. We can only do this 9 more times.
You go
The fact
to.
that we have done it as much as we have, and we still have so much Electrum left. It's like, yeah, whenever you need to talk to me, it's like, cool. We've talked to him basically every single day,
I think
and we can
you
still do it
haven't
9
been
more times.
tracking those quite because you only were given 33 pieces at first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you haven't.
Guys, we're down to, I don't know, it's 21 or something. We can only do it 7 more times.
Either way, like, even if it's the last... He also said, it doesn't have to be the Electrum he gave us. It could just be Electrum, period.
Yeah, but that's like finding a fucking misprinted coin with 100 grand. Like, no one uses Electrum. Every time you give one over to summon Ulrich, the bartender's like, I need to check if this is legal tender. Hang on. Wait, is this a Scottish £10 note? I don't know if we accept those.
I'm like, a $50 coin. I'm just like, does anybody actually fucking use these? Like...
The 50 pence pieces are pretty common in the UK. And 50-cent coins.
They're not common here.
We weirdly, to be fair, when you're using cash in the UK, we still weirdly use all of our legal tender. From bar experience.
Penny sweets! Actually, probably not a penny anymore, are they?
Nope. 5p is like the cheapest you get for a sweet.
Fucking inflation, man.
Think of the...
And what price is a Freddo now? God damn it.
About 89 pence. Yeah.
You are having a giggle.
I'm not. Anyway.
That's 400% inflation.
Freddos were always 20p. This is the argument of a Brit. Anyway.
Disgusting.
The bar that you've come to know. The place that you keep going to grab Ulrich. You could grab him at any bar.
The largest concentration of Electrum outside of my pocket
is now in the same location. But instead of a hazy, like, after image being cast over the bar and the patrons, the world around you shifts entirely. The bar is replaced, and the world around you is replaced by a simple babbling brook with a small stone table and chairs, neatly decorated and neatly clothed. There's ethereal music coming from somewhere unseen. The world around you is bliss, bright, calm. You see a young man sat at the table. One like you haven't seen in the various faces before. Youthful, heterochromic eyes, and a simple, short, well kept blonde hair and beard. They're wearing like a blue jupon and fancy breeches. And they just look towards you and smile. Care to join me?
Why we're here?
Everything's
It's
about to kick off, so we figured one last drink. Apparently everyone is back to the point where basically they remember everything, so we figured you'd probably be the same.
Yes. This was my... Well, this is a memory of my first attempt at a tavern. We were bedded down for the night by a simple stream, middle of summer. Sure, there was wars raging on around us. Sure, everything was diabolical, but in that one moment, I'd been working for months and brewing some drinks for my friends, taking little bits of their favourite thing. And I took away from the hatred and we just sat, sang and we drank. That moment of brevity. I'm so glad I remember it.
We found Bella.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
You
I gave her
learned a
back
lot.
her chess piece as well. I don't know. Did that chess piece? That was a key. No, it wasn't. Was it? I can't remember.
It was.
Was, yeah.
Clever Bella.
I didn't think you might. You were hoping. You sent us there in a roundabout way.
I suppose I did a lot of things in a roundabout way. There's always been a part of me that's been imagining, trying to reach out for everything that I forgot. And there was always a feeling within me to get things going, to try and complete things. Like an author trying to finish the last pages of a book that he just can't quite finish. A new plot point, a new character, a new arc. There's always been that drive to see what we tried to do so long ago get finished. So, what can I get you to drink? I could get you anything in the world.
If
Oh.
this is my last day on Elendor, and I need to taste something magical to go out with a bang, that's what I want. I'm sure you can come up with something. I think of all of the people on this plane, you are probably the one with the most vivid imagination. So I think I'll leave it up to you.
Bella gives me a run for my money, but when it comes to wine, when it comes to
she
booze,
gave us basically water, so
it's the one place we have our artistic differences. And for you, Breton, sir?
I don't know. Could have something local. Could have something from Naugathel, from where I grew up. Have something from where I actually was born. You know, Yellenfalls, they have this... You live in the mountains, so there's not much in the way of natural water or streams, so You sort of what you get. They ferment this yak's milk. As a child, I could not stand it. The smell of it would make me sick to my stomach. And even now, just thinking about it is unpleasant. There's all these places, too, we haven't been. Kaiting. Kaiting is a country that I don't think any of us have set foot. I don't think any of us have set within a country border of Kaiting, and I just wonder, what would we have had if we had gone there? No, Ulrich, I think... Is there anything that just isn't around anymore? Any drink that is just was lost to the ages, something that is kind of encapsulates what's been lost, but we could have again.
I know of a few things. And I think there's something that will meet your palate. He produces 2 drinks. Valymr, the one that you see is a deep purple in color, fizzing, bubbling, with a perfect head. It looks to be a rich, deep cider. He goes on to explain that it is a cider made from exquisite jungle fruits from a tiny remote island that defies the laws of gravity somewhat.
I'd argue that no such place would exist, but then I saw places like that exist.
Vine-like fruits that ferment there and are kept by a unique insect. And it is a ecosystem perfect for this drink. But it's a drink that barely anyone has tasted. And for you, Breton, he produces a wine. The bottle is relatively simple. But as you touch the bottle, it's hot, warm to the touch. He goes on to explain that in one of the towers in the Green and Pleasant Day, it held reverence to winter, the one of the towering cities. In there, they would brew this warming wine that naturally heated from the berry, from the grape, straight from the vine, that they would use to make the cold feel like it was nothing at all. Warmed you to your very stomach and to your core, and it hasn't been tasted in the same way ever since. People try to replicate it with mulled wine and similar sorts, but the actual true essence of this warming wine has not been tasted since the Green and Pleasant.
That's what Breton was looking for. He's going to do his best, pretend of being a noble sampling wine that is of a proper vintage. You know, just like pour it into a glass, swirl it, give it a sniff. Very, very, very small sips. Like you're just trying to get the hints of the flavors. He's going to do his best at it. He's not going to, just go glug it down like an asshole.
Yeah, fair enough. Both of your drinks are exactly to how, they match your palates perfectly in terms of what you were looking for. Well, cheers to new horizons.
A new day.
May it be green and pleasant.
Maybe what people make of it.
May it exist.
I like both of those sentiments completely. So, is there any stone left unturned for you? Anything that the mighty bard scholar might be able to impart as a final piece of wisdom?
Well, Bella was very forthright with what she could tell us. We learned a lot. We learned what's coming ahead. The decisions that we're going to make don't necessarily need to be made before we get there. We can make them after. She warned us what we'll need for it, and that's being made. Final preparations are being done. We're starting to gather everyone up. Starting to get the forces ready for this final battle that's going to be... I can't very well say beyond what the plane has seen, because this plane is known war beyond which I imagine most of us comprehend, even before the Green and Pleasant Day. I guess the last question that hasn't been answered, and I feel like we should know the answer to this, but I'm just going to ask. The seals were broken because they wanted to make sure we had everything we needed to fight this. That we understand. The seals were made because it let us protect the plane, or let the plane be protected from the outside, but also there was enough power to allow certain little cheats to do what they wanted. But I guess the thing that still really comes down to it is Joanna was a broken seal when she was stolen. Why did she need to still be hidden?
The moment you all, at the various times you did, stepped foot on this path, the moments that you found, you've always been playing catch-up, somewhat. Do you deny that?
No, that seems like a pretty accurate representation of our journey here. Is chasing a rabbit that is just constantly racing the track.
Hiding Joanna away. Was a way that we could give ourselves more time. It's happened. Inciting incidents with the shadows, with all of the forces, have happened throughout the decades. But that one was so potent and so prophetic, so matching of prophecy, that it was a force that we couldn't rectify before the end. So we delayed. I delayed. I bought time. Those who would open the box, those who would set it all going properly. For me, in what little lucidity I had within the fog of my memory, I knew that would be the marker that things were coming to pass, and I could only roll with the punches now, and that I'd placed all my cards, for the most part.
when Zedaar lied to you about it.
I let him go.
I wasn't there for that, but I'll be here for this.
I'm sure you'll have the opportunity to tell him before the end. I regret any and all of the side effects of my actions throughout this. But I believe in a better tomorrow. I
Mother
believe...
kept saying that she felt guilty, that you all fucked up, that you all made mistakes, that she felt responsible for the fact that the world that is in the shape that it's in, that you all didn't manage to fix everything. Well, you all did what you felt you had to.
We held on long enough.
That's just life. It's, you make decisions, and you hope when you change the world, and you hope that it keeps on spinning long enough for the people that come after you to make different decisions, and hopefully keep it spinning on then. You know, there's some argument about kicking the can down the road, but I don't see it that way. I see that as there's a road, and you're walking down it, and you pick up people along the way. Eventually, you can't keep walking down the road, but somebody has to. As long as there's a road, someone to walk it, there's still a story. If you would have told me a year ago, back when I was serving Ruby, back when I was in prison under the Dwargar, and back when all this started, that I'd be part of any of this, I wouldn't have believed you. But here I am, inspiring troops to keep their morale up, hopefully bring as many of them back alive as we can.
I heard that. It was a good speech.
I never would have thought I had it in me. I always thought I was somebody to follow, not somebody to lead, somebody to inspire.
I was a prisoner once. I was a plaything of a certain laughing god. Part of his eternal circus. The ability to change my form, a performative art. I was a chained prisoner, nothing more than a toy. My friends, my friend Elendor, they're the one who unchained me. They showed me that there was more to life and enjoyment. They taught me to run. I hope, in a small part, even where I faltered, even where my friends faltered, like a father wishing best for his kids, but even in my mistakes, those that will succeed me will run and fly even further. That's all it comes down to. How many roads many paths, how many converging ley lines, and how many stories. The simplistic thing is, those who succeed us, we want the world for them. I hope you make that world. And don't worry, myself, Sour, Bella, we wouldn't miss this ride for the world. We'll see to it that we get to play our part too in the closing act. Some plays are not standalone, whilst our play might be ending. It's only Act 1 of yours. See to it we go out with a bang.
It'll be memorable. For as long as people are allowed to remember it, I suppose.
Who decided that you would lose your memories?
We all did. Part of the sacrifices we made. If we were, well, considering not everyone ascended, and considering we knew that our time was limited, that we couldn't decide truly what to do, that we let the light grow a little too dim, we had to make up for it in some way. We kept our longevity, some of us kept our powers, kept our status, but we didn't ascend. We didn't play a greater part. For that, and for the safety of what we had built, or what was left of what we built, we had to forget. There's power in words. Spells are just a small testament to that. It's an echo that goes way beyond this world. Sometimes you just need to live by that power.
Finish up the drink. Oh, am I free to take the rest of this bottle with me?
Oh, absolutely. Would you like... before you go, if there's anything else you'd like to try, or like a bottle of, I'm sure I could conjure up something.
Are we planning on sleeping before we go anywhere?
We could, if we were so inclined. I know Ruby's going to be hard at work at what she's doing. She's not going to miss us for a few hours.
Then I would like to just drink some more. Last chance we get. Maybe. You never
Typical
know.
college, all the fun guys are out there drinking and having fun, but I'm here studying and cramming, putting down the C4.
Look, this is your fault for taking a technical science degree. They're here on a sports scholarship as paladins. Come on now.
You only need a C- to get through your grades. I have to get a fucking A.
Yeah, sure. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but the only reason I'm here is because I have a rich daddy who gave me, a rich mommy, I suppose, who gave me the full scholarship, the money I needed to, so...
Oh dear, the parallels are unequaled.
Which is even more
What do you mean?
hilarious.
Scholarship paying for higher education? What is this? What is this?
No.
Nonsense.
Valymr, sorry, Lambert. I have the real life debt to prove that I'm paying for higher education as well, and I have an arts degree. So.
I'm speaking as I moved to Finland and very happy about that.
Fair enough. Cries and 60,000.
So the government doesn't give you money to go to school? What? Really? Crazy talk.
But
no, nor do they give us money for healthcare either.
But
what's that? Paternity leave? Maternity leave?
I will say then, if you chose to rest with Ulfric, I can give you the benefits of a long rest with him, and it won't eat into your time.
No. Sure.
All right.
And in that long rest, you can spend it trying delicacies and booze from any period of history
just
he has experienced.
A rack of historical and cultural drinks and foods from all over the world and all throughout
foods,
time.
They're more bar snacks.
Yeah.
He's not the cook.
It's finger foods.
It's finger foods. It's like tendies.
Somewhere Ruby is going, man, I really feel like I'm missing out on something.
And
this place does the best wings.
But one of the things he does enthrall you with is various drinking songs, traditional tunes, music, stories, tales, and like poems from bygone ages. Stuff that he might have written himself at points. Of course,
I was trying to get us to multi-class into Bard.
There was never a single bard in this campaign, but this whole campaign has been organized by a bard. The irony in that.
We had everything except for a wizard and a bard, I think.
No monk.
We did not have a monk either. Everything a wizard, a bard, and a monk.
Zaraj was like kind of like a monk in spirit.
No druid.
No. Was down under fella. I can't remember his name.
You had a monk.
Was he not a monk?
Gourd came back. Gourd was a druid.
No, you had Kifis. You had a monk.
Kifis.
Right, Kifis was a monk.
Yeah.
For all the 3 or 4 sessions that Kifis was with us, yeah, that was way back at the start.
6. I think it was about 6. You had Kifis.
And his NPC showing up later on, you're correct.
Yep.
But yeah, I was like, monks, like, are you sure about monk? No. But we have not had a wizard, no spellbook boys, and we have not had a...
I have a spellbook. Yeah, I have Ritual Caster Wizard.
You've had 2... I can't remember 2 or 3 of you have had Ritual Caster Wizard.
I am legally not a wizard, but I still have
wizard. You had a monk, but you've never had... No one has been a bard.
Well, I mean, it's the same difference. Like, Breton has gone out and performed for people. That doesn't make him a bard.
No.
So no, it's like no wizard, no bard in this campaign.
And
that was the two.
You haven't really seen them about. They're not really something that's been super.
No one can compete with Ulfric after all.
It was my backup character if Ruby didn't make it. Was a bard. Anyway, I'll make it easy for Ruby. She's cramming and probably hanging out with the Lord High Mage in the castle. So he gets to help.
Sure thing. Is he there?
Breton, he's enjoying these finger foods, but I think he's also just asking Ulrich because he's now curious. Like, he wants to hear stories about the things that they did while they were on their adventures.
Yeah.
Some of his...
Now that they can remember them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He fulfills you with so many little tales, especially people like he has. There's a lot of reverence, and you notice it as well now that you know who Ulfric is, and that he was also, for example, hold on, I need to get my notes up for the green and pleasant day in the Great Summit. I have been, yeah, I haven't opened this note page in a while. To go back to the prose that I started this journey with you, with the excerpt from The Man Who Would Be King, Act 4, Scene 5. The fact that Ulfric the Bard Scholar is actually Edgar Allard, who wrote the famous history plays, the ones that gave you the stories of the Great Summit. After talking about the heroes, there was a lot of reverence and a lot of tales in his work that covered Gilliam and the tales of Gilliam de Fionia and his offspring. And there's a real reverence from Ulfric that Gilliam's the only one of their friends that really isn't here anymore. And he tells you a lot about him. Tells you what kind of a man he was, how he was instrumental in so many of their journeys, but that his story didn't end, much like all of theirs. Him and Gilliam and his wife gave birth to a nation and to 5 great houses and what another great hero in the Chevalier Argent. And their power was in what they left behind more than just as much as what they did. But you hear all sorts of very comic moments where they were less than gods, where they were just very simple adventurers fighting against the odds. Like, they were originally like just there helping people and resisting against the endless heavenly wars, existing in a time where the planes were air quotes normal, where threats would come and go almost like a monster of the week. But he tells you it all, and he helps relive the memories that have been so long forgotten. Now that the lines are weak, but also you're powerful enough to hear them and remember them yourselves.
Yeah. That is an evening, that is a rest, and that is
time well spent.
Mm-hmm.
So Valymr and Breton get sloshed. Probably not sloshed, but they do drink and they snack and they get lots of stories. They hear lots of songs.
The effects of the alcohol are only as much as you want them to be. That's another
So
part of the match.
Valymr gets sloshed.
I think Breton wants to be here and present for it, so he's like, he's feeling good, but he's just like, nope, I'm fine.
You're in
So
there.
yeah, we're gonna do all this. We're gonna show up in Guillermo in like an hour after Ruby left, and it's just gonna be like, hey, what did you guys do? Well,
we played.
To tell
How quickly
you,
do you want to get something to thrown at you? Because that will absolutely happen.
he brought you wine.
We played drinking games, and we did.
Was that a shoe or a fireball?
Shield.
But yeah, you two get the benefits of a long rest, if that helps.
Yeah, so bro.
You get your luck back,
long rest.
for one thing. But it also...
Oh, yeah. If we have the long rest, does that mean we can do the Lux and Beacon do that thing again?
No, because those are tied to
Dawn
on the mortal plane.
Okay. I still would have mine then, or does it go away when you rest as well?
So
Does it go away when I use it?
I have to ask then, because that begs for a very complicated thing. That's tied to Dawn on the mortal plane, you said, right? And time passes wibbly wobbly in the outer planes. So does that mean we can get the benefit of that beacon like every hour and a half while we're in the abyss? I'm sorry, Midge. This is what I do for a living. Like,
hey, if you keep checking in with me with a DM, I will roll and I will find out. I like that brain power. Like, don't keep quiet on that. Do not keep quiet on things like that.
I got a player in my Sunday group that was well known for trying to break the game, so I've had to go back. I've had to get real back into policing what things can and can't be done as a DM. And it's also put me back into, it's like, I'm looking for things. Beth has gotten this too, where it's like, we were just like, yeah, it was, we were going through a trial on the Friday game, and it's like, yeah, so we get teleported into a train car that was moving up the central spire of Sigil, which magic doesn't work there because it's the central spire of Sigil, but it's like, wait a second, if we got teleported here, how are we fighting with demons and devils that are here if
Roll
the
with it.
magic doesn't work? It's just like, it was just a dream sequence. Just roll with it. I'm like, okay, fine. just stop second guessing everything.
My answer to that
I'm not
is,
gonna.
in terms of table rules, though, in terms of the actual dawn, is the time shifting happens at the point of the portal shifting.
Sure,
So-
that is how it works too. It's going through the portals is what causes the time to get fucky.
Exactly.
That is how that is supposed to work.
Yes, exactly. So it would be a natural 24 hours.
Yeah, no, that is correct. That is the proper response to that question, Midge.
However, I'm also fuck it, let's roll kind of guy. So give me an option, I'll roll with it. No, yeah, it works the standard 24 hours rule.
All right. So yeah, pass on the same word to Hiking Guillaume. Let him know that.
So it's been about half day because you obviously did the inspiration of the troops. You told everyone, Rien, you had a light lunch of a day.
A light lunch of everything the world has to offer, or has ever had to offer.
Just a sample plan.
In a pub.
In Parfait, and yeah, in pubs.
The best bar food of all time.
The best
and
bar
of
food.
all times.
And yeah, you can enter the castle capital. The High King isn't actually at the castle. Ruby, you would also know this. He's with the now formed and fighting army at the portal. But the court mage, sorry, my memory is blanking on the Azdakian man that you allied with, that's the court mage.
Court mage's name is.
He informs you that he can send word.
Magister Uzador.
Uzador, yes, High Magister Uzador. Uzador says that he could, contact the High King if necessary.
The organization that was responsible for protecting the seal were the Stonekeepers.
They were indeed.
That was in our notes. I went back and looked at the notes that Midge gave us a long time ago for the Council of Kings.
The amount of times I still personally refer to Zep's notes every now and then, not necessarily to cover all of my information. Sometimes it is that, because sometimes I'll throw an NPC name out that somehow comes back 4 years later. But also just to remember how much you guys info you already have. Just a small aside, Mordred, you had fantastic notes in this campaign, and the fact that the document you give me has hyperlinks to different parts of the documents. Salute.
The guy's an artificer in real life. Like,
does he use it? Does he use Obsidian?
No, this is all in a Google Doc.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, exactly.
And just puts the time and effort in.
Anyway.
Yes.
Ruby is studying.
Give me some Arcana checks, please.
There's one, and it's a 17.
Okay, give me a second.
There's a second.
Because you've only gone for
and
about
it's 20 dose.
Okay, add another success, I will say.
I'm at 4.5.
Yeah, because it's been a half day, but you are hyper-focused.
Cramming.
Yeah, hyper-focused. And you've come across more knowledge about yourself that makes this go easy.
I think I've got it halfway done. Somehow. I don't know how, but I'm almost halfway there.
Might be ready then. Everything's going well.
Also, I hate math!
So, is there anything you guys would like to do before you head to the portal and to meet with the forces established there?
Ruby already left a letter for her sister. For when she's older, yeah.
I wrote that a while ago.
Yeah, you did that on your last visit.
Nope, Ruby's gonna study. Nobody wants to talk to her. She don't want to talk to nobody. But she will take Breton's wine as a sacrifice.
Sacrifice, yeah. It's good. If for some reason it's warm, like constantly. Which is real nice.
Also, she probably won't sleep since she's got the... She doesn't use any spell slots, so...
So are you going to try and set out the next day, guys?
Yeah, since our sleeping took place on the first day without issue, so I think we do get we've slept already. So I feel like this is actually, there's this odd moment where we got a long rest, but time didn't move forward. So now Valymr and Breton are just fucking wired like all night long.
One of the drinks that are served in a bar is clearly White Monster.
Which just means like, so we're in Kirvaloo, it's the next day, or so it's the evening, and it's just like, we're wired, but there's nothing to study, because we're not at the Cathedral of Ascension, so what do we do? I actually am curious, like, do we just go out and like...
What? The thing is, you could, if you found a way to get moving and not...
I'll take a carriage.
Yeah, like, you could start traveling without Ruby's, like, learning interruption. Like, if you can get her enough space to move.
We could hire up a courage. Honestly, imagine if we speak to the king, he'll be like, all right, if you need to go there, like, well,
King's
whatever
not,
soldiers
King's
are also...
at the, King's
he's
at
there.
the army,
Well,
but Zedaar could probably sort something.
Yeah, Quartermaster Zedaar, somebody's like, yeah, sure, whatever soldiers are left to go there, send you with them with the detachment, put you in a carriage so your ride's comfortable. So, like, if you're not hurrying, then we got to get stuff there. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like a grain shipment and stuff that you could probably tag along with.
Yeah, I'll ride in the back of a carriage.
Okay.
Reading still.
Running permutations and computations in mathematics.
Because there isn't exactly a nighttime now. The sky just kind of gets a little bit of a deeper shade of red sometimes.
Yeah.
You probably hear Ruby at some point screaming, "Did that page just fucking wink at me?"
Yeah. Oh, have you got that guy's book now?
Oh fuck! I forgot about that. I did want to ask about because Ulrich's struck by the Laughing God. I wanted to ask him what he thought about the Bibliothor's book, the one that was talking to Valymr.
Babaforth. Oh yeah,
Babaforth. Yeah, Babaforth's book. The one that's that one that Valmyr's been fucking Chamber of Secrets talking into.
You wanted to ask Ulrich?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Ulrich about that. Like, what is with this book? And is it Babaforth in here, or is this like a shard of the Laughing God that's been trapped in this book, trying to convince Valymr to become another Horcrux?
I'll let you retcon and ask that if you like. Ulrich kind of says both.
Por qué los dos? Okay, fair enough.
It's both. Babaforth is in there, but Babaforth is an avatar of the Laughing God these days.
Well, I'm not gonna say I told you so, Valymr, because not necessarily.
Look, I thought it was information. We needed information. This was, obviously, it's a fucked up.
It was both. It was information and it was dangerous. Like, neither of us were wrong there. So
everything we're doing nowadays is dangerous. I thought it was a calculated risk, and I'm just bad at math. I don't know what to tell you.
Apparently, that's going around.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we learned that. And now we're riding a carriage off towards the farmstead.
Yeah. I'm actually going to end the session early here. Because,
that's fair.
One, you guys level up. I get to say that live for once. You have
you get to say it for the last time?
Maybe. But
last time this campaign, anyways.
You've definitely hit the final-ish milestone in the live sequence before you go into the portal, and before we sort some things out, and before the apocalypse is here. So, yeah, I'm going to leave you guys to do your level up. But all I've got left to do today is to thank those who have been here. Thank you to Bethany Rose, to DM Lake, and to Lord Lambert. I've been Midgeman. We've been to the Elendor Chronicles cast here on a Monday. Join us tomorrow, hopefully for more Lancer. Really excited that we're back and going with the Tuesday crew. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.